Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome back to Connecting with the Conversations in the Quran. And today we're going to be looking at another wonderful conversation that's going on between Sulaiman alayhi salam and the Hoopee, the hudhud, his bird. So, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah, rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. So it's in Surah Namal, and just from Surah Namal we should know that there's a beautiful passage, and I'm not looking at that one, where Sulaiman alayhi salam, when he marshaled in Ayah 17, marshaled his hosts with the jinn, the birds, the men, and they were all kept in order and ranks because he was given, they've been given knowledge of the speech of the birds and so on. So 17 says this, and in 18 they come to a valley of the Namal, they come Wadil Namal, and then and so the Namal says to her people, Ya ayyuha namlu udkhulul masakinakum, that, oh ants, get into your houses, but you don't know if Umar and his host might crush you underfoot. And then he smiles, Sulaiman alayhi salam, and he says a beautiful dua when he says he's amused at his speech, and he says, what does he say? He says a beautiful Rabbana, which says, Rabbi awzani an ashkura ni'matika allati anamta alayya wa ala walidayya wa an amala salihan tardahu wa adkhilni bi rahmatika fi ibadika salihin. Oh Ya Allah, you know the beautiful thing is when you see these beautiful things, you want to just thank Allah from the bottom of your soul. Whether you couldn't find something, you're going, I can't find my keys, and I go to look for I'm picking up something else in the kitchen or something, and lo and behold, there are other keys. So doesn't that just want to make you go in sajda of just being, Ya Allah, just thank you that I may be grateful, to you for your favors. It's, Awzani, give me the ability to do ashkura nematika, that your nema, let me be in shukr. And we did in Surah Luqman about how to tell you about being in shukr. So all these conversations, try and see what common themes emerge, what from Allah's perspective, from the Quran perspective, it's Tawheed, Risala, Akhirah. Those are the things that were kept drumming into us, to be told to us. And 90%, it's in these conversations, always see the Tawheed factor that emerges. So while it may be, this is so repetitive, we're saying the same thing, but we as human beings are forgetful. Nisyan is what we are. And so we do need these reminders. And from different aspects, from different stories, something will resonate, something will kick in for us to say subhanallah. And in this beautiful month of Ramadan, I thought with these conversations, something might just trigger in us a little bit at a heart level, and of wanting to say, Ya Allah, I pray, give me, when we say Rabbi shrah li sadri, Ya Allah, expand my breast and allow my aqali, that I give a speech that is being able to understood. So allow us also just to speak the truth, the right thing, and for it to have impact. Because if you say it in a yelling way, you really not, the other person hasn't heard you, so you've lost the plot. You may know all the right things, but in the way it's been conveyed and the way the other person was, so have the courtesy of knowing where, in what space is he? Is he fearful? Is he this? Like with Dawud alayhi salam, he was fearful. So he just came out to give her a judgment, and then he realized that wasn't, he needed to have been calm to be able to take a more balanced judgment. So anyway, so this is just, I haven't even got into the story I want to. So this is with Namal, and that's it. Then he said, he took a muster of his birds, and he says, why don't I see Hudhud? Where is Hudhud? Where is he? Why is he among the absentees? And in 21 he says, I'll really punish him unless he brings me a clear reason. So I found that a bit harsh. Why is he saying I'll punish him with a severe penalty or execute him? But that is like, what they say is it's a deterrent of giving a symbolic deterrent, an accountability. So his strictness with the Hoopee was not harshness for its own sake, but as a reflection of his disciplined leadership for the others to take. No, you can't just take off with the tiniest excuses. And the truth is that if you come to work and somebody has I had to go to the hairdresser, she wouldn't give me an appointment any other time. It's Eid's coming around the corner, so I had to miss my meeting or something. Say that, and you've messed up the whole organizational discipline. So in his saying how he said it is only a reflection of his disciplined leadership, and that was a learning for me too, of that it's not in harshness. So the Hoopee also, he comes back, he has a good excuse, and he's gone out. So the beautiful role of this hudhud, of this Hoopee, is how I know it in English, is he's like a scout. So you can even call him at a military, because he's got all this army, and we're talking about that, about how he keeps everybody in his hosts, is he's like a military scout, an intelligence gathering person, and he goes much further ahead of, you know, the troops, the caravan. It's all plowing along, even if at a fast speed, because Sulaiman alayhi salam had the winds at his service, but nonetheless he's going further to check it out. Usually in the tafsir would say he's checking out where he could he had piercing eyes, you know, whatever, better than a drone, and he could see underneath where's water, where should they camp. But in this case, it's a what he did go, he saw the people of Sheba, we say, that they were worshipping idolatry. And so he goes on, so Hoopee did not tarry. He came up and he said, I've come back from a territory that you haven't seen much further, and I'll tell you about what the Saba people do, the true guidance, you know, with the yaqeen. And I found a woman ruling over them. She provided for everything for them, and she has a magnificent throne. And the beauty is, and then he says in 24, this is still the hudhud, he says, I found her and her people worshipping, you know, so this is what I'm doing. I'm giving you conversations of what this hudhud is saying himself. And so he says, I found her and her people worshipping the sun besides Allah, and Satan has made their deeds pleasing to them and has kept them away from the path. So they have received no guidance. So in 5, and they kept them away from what's of guidance, and that they should not worship Allah, who brings to light everything hidden in the heavens and the earth. And he says, and this is hudhud again saying, and there is no Allahu la ilaha illahu huwa rabbul arshil azim, that he is the supreme throne. So what I loved about that is, even this hudhud, he tells her he saw these people, they were worshipping the sun, and before even that he said, and she had a magnificent throne. And then he finishes his conversation to say, but Allah is the rabbul arshil azim, but Allah is the one with the arsh, which is the most azim. You know, so look at how, for me, the conversation is, when you start with something, finish it off on the other side. So you did this because of this, but when you conclude, you bring in what it started with. So I just find that fascinating. So her throne is mentioned, then Allah's throne is mentioned as even a better one. And he himself is on guidance too. This is the hudud. And so I'm going to try to speed it up. Sulaiman alayhi salam says, okay, so we'll see if you're telling the truth or not. So what does that do? That is about checking that your source of information is true. We can compare it with Surah Hujurat later, when it says that you need to see, I think it's an ayah 6, or is it 16 of Surah Hujurat, where also, when somebody comes to you with a tale, ascertain whether it's true or not. In 49 of Surah Hujurat, number 6, that if O you who have believed, if there comes to be somebody disobedient with information, investigate. But here Sulaiman is investigating his own person, who's a scout, who goes around, and the wisdom of verification. So and then when he gives him the story, he said, okay, we'll see if what you're saying is true or not true. So this is what you do: you go with my letter and you deliver it to him, draw away and see what they say and see what their answer is. So when the queen gets it, I'm not going to go into that. This is the place where Sulaiman starts his letter with. It starts with Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, and it offsets the fact that there is no Bismillah in the beginning of Surah Tawbah. So they say here it is where it is, and it is in ayah 30 of Surah Namal, where he sent this letter. So he's a letter worthy of respect. And now she's talking. Now, so the Queen of Sheba, she's talking, and she's reading to them the letter. And the letter starts of Sulaiman alayhi salam, don't be arrogant, but come to me in submission to the true Allah. And she says, now you guys advise me, what do I do? So I found that also as a bit like a harsh way or an abrupt way of saying, giving the message of, hello, You just come and believe. So the beautiful thing that they say that in the context is that when, because he's a king, she's a queen there, that at parity, you are not, the first thing you're bringing people to is to Tawheed. You're inviting her to Tawheed, so you're not beating the bush, you're not sort of giving her a big, get to the point, and the point being that you need to listen to what the answer is. But I will get into her story more in the next session of what she says and what happens there further with her. But basically, it is about, with the Hudhud, he is assessing first, is he well informed, is what he's saying. So like for us to take home on just assessment of looking at that is, don't be like the US invading Afghanistan, destroying Iraq, flimsy excuse, no, that's where they were, destruction of Gaza. When we looked at it with Dawood alayhi salam's conversation, it was about the greed. It's a greed that does it. But even otherwise, it's just these flimsiest excuses, and you just, instead of rushing in without knowledge, he now has could now plan a well-informed action of how to be with her. So for us, the take home is, there's all this chat GPT going on, there's all these new artificial intelligence. How do we harness it? How do we use it? So this is, Hudhud was his military intelligence officer for Sulaiman alayhi salam. You don't know if he's, we have spies, counter spies, all these movies that they make, that was he a spy for them or was he a spy for them, whatever the terms are of all those things. So, and for us to now, if we have these apps and these new technologies at our disposal, we call them Sheikh Google because we are so used to referring to Sheikh, especially for references. Before there was a time, there is a beautiful dictionary, and I would love to share with you the name of the author, a big thick dictionary which has every word of the Quran. If it's Rabbana, it will tell you everywhere where that Rabbana comes. So before, when I used to have to reference something, I would open this book, I would look at where it say Maruf, and then I would look Amar bil Maruf. It would give you all the times it came. That's how it used to be. It was recorded in books, and that's how people did it. Now all that information has come into the internet, and they have started to use it. So if we have been using the internet so far, and if the biggest buzzword, it isn't so latest, but maybe for the likes of me who is late in is AI or chat GPT. Now yes, use it, but use it to harness. And the beauty is cross-check. So, I go to it and I ask it, give me where are the ayahs on this story. It will give it, but I have to go and check. And so many times it's wrong. It gives you the wrong. But now you don't sort of say, oh, it's rubbish. Then I tell it, hey, you're wrong. It's there. So you are aiding correcting the information there too. And then it apologizes, and then it says, yes, you're quite right, that's not where it says. Or, the Hudhud didn't say this, it's actually him who said it, it's not Sulaiman alayhi salam. So in engaging with these things, with these new technologies, it gives you a strategic advantage. You are better placed. So be informed, be in the know of whatever your field is. So with that, I'd like to take you, so it was just about the Hudhud and Sulaiman alayhi salam, and how it pans out, that you need to check your information, and don't just believe blindly. So alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulullah, rabbi shrah li, I'll just end off with alhamdulillah, Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun ala al-mursaleen walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Jazakallah khair for being there, and inshallah till next time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.